Take a good look at that video. Protesters in Athens, driven by rage, fear, tear gassed, beaten, bloodied in the streets for rejecting austerity measures aimed at pulling the country out of debt. Follow the money stays all over fear and loathing in America, and if you think this can't happen here, you better think again. I'm going to go to my good friend Peter Schiff. What about it, Peter? It's all about keeping Greece from being buried in debt. We're in way deeper debt than a country like Greece is.
Oh, look, it's not a question of when, if, it's a question of when. It's going to happen here. It's going to be relatively soon. We're in the same position. We've made promises that we can't keep. And the reason people in Greece are rioting is because the government is coming forward and saying, well, we can't give you everything we promised. Well, the same situation is here. We're broke. We can't keep our promises. We can't make all the Social Security payments we promised. We can't give all the government retirees the pensions we promised. We can't pay back all of our creditors the money we borrowed. It's impossible because we can't get the revenues from the taxpayers. So we're either going to have the austerity and default and renege, or we're going to have runaway inflation. But either way, there's going to be lots of riots and protests as the economy crumbles in the United States.
Hang in there, Peter, and also Nancy. I want to go to Wayne. What about it, Wayne? Do you agree with Peter that we could be the next? Look this way. If we're not, as a country, the next Greece, California could be the next Greece.
Well, there's something to say to that. It's the seventh largest economy in the world, as you know, in California. Yes, ultimately, that's right. If we continue in this, yeah, you can't just continue to borrow money and not pay it back. One of the things he touched on, which is really interesting, and it could happen even before and presage that, is the fact that you have all these public employee pension plans that are defined benefit plans, not defined contribution plans. A lot of people don't understand that. The defined benefit plan, you're dead. They are way big different. They are so far under financed right now that it's it's just a question of time.
Means that we know exactly what we're going to owe them for as long as they live, and defined contribution means, hey, it depends how much you put in.
Correct.
Tells you how much
I'm going to get out as opposed to putting in.
It's very easy.
Hang on, Pete, I want to get to Juan. Juan, what about if we do, God forbid, go into a situation where we have to default on our debt or do things like print a ton more money? I'm guessing we're going to print money.
Well, I mean, you got to do something. You can't let the country, go to hell. So you got to make sure that we don't get into that situation. Peter, I got to tell you, I want to just stay at home, pull the blankets over my head after I listen to you, buddy. This doesn't sound a pretty picture. But I got to tell you, Peter, here's the thing.
There's another option, Juan.
There is an option. But let me just say, I think Peter is right, more right than wrong in this sense. I think there are large sectors of the American population, and a lot of them are the people who have the biggest complaints about American spending, who are not going to accept the fact that there have to be cuts.
You said the S word, Skinner. What about it? How about we cut some spending instead of worrying about being the next Greece?
Well, I agree. Peter, do you want to eliminate the tax cuts, $700 billion for the wealthiest 2% that we have to borrow from the Chinese? If you're so worried about spending.
No, I want to slash spending.
Okay,
I want to take.
Why borrow? Why dig deeper? Why with those tax cuts? And I do want to cut spending, and that would be the first thing because these people, most of them, make over $1 million.
Adding a tax is not cutting spending, Nancy. Adding more taxes isn't cutting spending.
It's reducing the debt. It's not increasing the debt further.
Here's a problem.
But there will not be riots.
Let me tell you. Hold on.
Here's why there won't be.
Let me just answer your question. I'm in the top tax bracket right now, and so I'm paying better than 45% of my income, of my entire income right now in income taxes. 45%, more than that, in income taxes. I don't want to pay any more. I'm overtaxed as it is right now. In fact, if you raise my taxes, I'm working less. I'm going to pay less taxes. So are a lot of other people.
You're just going to
The only way to bring down the deficit.
Taxes are at a 60-year low right now.
They're not. Hold on. I am paying. Excuse me, ma'am.
60-year low.
Ma'am, I am paying more than 45% of my income in taxes right now. How much do you think I should pay?
Guys, hold it. You can argue.
How much should I let her answer?
You can argue in,
How much should I
Michigan
pay?
and Connecticut, but I'm going to bring it out to Monica here. We're not really talking about cutting spending. I mean, really, when the austerity measures were to help the spending side of the equation, not the taxing side of the equation.
When we look at the American economy and where we are right now, there are two elements to it. When we talk about the tax rate deal or cutting taxes or keeping them where they are, we're talking about the growth side. But just as important as the growth side is the spending side. And the American people get it. They see these images from Greece and the UK and Spain with the masses in the streets. Why? They have been so addicted to their entitlements. They are an entitlement narcotic societies over there in Western Europe. American people see that and say, there but for the grace of God go we. And we better take care of our financial house, our fiscal house right now before we get to that point. And the way,
because healthcare reform, Nancy, in the long run, reduces the massive deficits because it spends the dollars wisely.
That is laughable on its face. You're talking about a $3.6 trillion healthcare entitlement that we cannot afford.
It's cutting, but it cuts the cost of government.
There is no cutting.
But let me just say, here's the problem I have, Monica. Monica, let me just say, Monica, not only does it do that, healthcare actually helps American capitalism because it reduces their healthcare costs.
No, it doesn't.
But
it's going to drive the costs higher.
Hang on, Peter. Let me just finish this point to Monica. Monica, you know the people who are going to scream the loudest, who are going to look like Greece and England and Spain? It's going to be older Americans.
Those aren't older Americans, Juan. Those aren't older Americans up there on that video.
They're the ones that are screaming,
Those are young people. And
Eric,
they're young
let me
people.
tell you something.
They're violent in Ireland. They're violent in England.
Let me just tell you something. Government workers are going to be part of this. Young people who are worried about the higher cost of education will be part of it. That's what you see there. But remember, it was the seniors in London, in Britain, who were the ones who were complaining about cuts in their entitlement.
We have to leave it there. I'm sorry to jump in.
Education is expensive because the government made it expensive. The free market would bring the cost of education down.
Peter,
it's the government subsidies that are pushing it up.
Right.
Peter, Nancy,
we tried that.
You guys are staying with us. Stop. We're going to have to leave it right there. You're going to stay with us for the rest of the